Good evening, everybody. So, everybody join now. Join fast. So, let's start our lesson. Today, we are going to discuss the one of the important part of class 11, animal tissues. So, lot of information we read this in this part. So, let's start. So, first thing, we are talking about a tissues, a group of cells having same origin, structure, and function are called tissues. In animal tissue, we are dividing all the tissues into 4 different types. Number 1, epithelial. Number 2, connective. Number 3, muscular. And number 4, the neural tissue. So first we discuss the epithelial tissue. Epithelial tissue, it has a free surface that faces body fluid or outside. Think about this one. Free surface is there and that faces the body fluid or outside environment. One part is associated with body fluid, another part is associated with outer environment. It covers or lines the body or body parts. Epithelial tissue, we are dividing them into two different parts. Number one, simple epithelium. And number two, compound epithelium. Simple epithelium, it is composed of single layer of cell. It lines body cavities, ducts and tubes mostly. So based on the structural modification of cells, the simple epithelium tissues are divided into prime three parts. One is squamous epithelium. Number two, cuboidal. Cuboidal epithelium. And number three, that is columnar epithelium. So first we discuss the squamous epithelium. Squamous epithelium, this is thin layer of flattened cells with irregular boundaries. These are found in the walls of blood vessels, and lung alveoli. The main function of squamous epithelium, that is, form a diffusion boundary. Important, and remember this one. From this function, you can know where they are present actually. Diffusion boundary. That's the function. Next, the second part of simple epithelium, that is cuboidal. These are compressed cube-like cells. They are mostly present in the ducts of glands and tubular part of nephron. Tubular part of nephron. So on the presence, you can say the function will be secretion and absorption. In the tubular part of nephron, the epithelium of PCT are made up of cuboidal epithelium. So the epithelium of the PCT of nephron in the kidney, they have microvillar structure also there. Next, after cuboidal, the columnar. The columnar epithelium. The columnar epithelium, these are composed of tall and slender cells. Their nuclei are located at the base. That's very important. Nuclei located at the base of the columnar cells. Their free surface have many microvilli. On their free surface. Mostly the columnar cells are present in the lining of stomach, and intestine. So the columnar epithelium, the function is secretion and absorption. So there are some modification of columnar and cuboidal cells. As we know, some columnar cells are modified by ciliated epithelium. So the cells bearing cilia on their free surface present in the inner surface of the hollow organs inner surface of the hollow organs, just like the bronchioles, and fallopian tube. Very important. These are frequently asked questions. Fallopian tubes. So what the function? To move the particles or the mucus in a specific direction. So they move the particles or the mucus to always in specific direction. Over the epithelium. The another modified part, that is glandular. The glandular epithelium. These are specified for secretion There are two types mainly: unicellular that is consist of isolated glandular cell. So the example of unicellular glandular epithelium, that is goblet cell, and these are present in alimentary canal. another type of the glandular epithelium, that is multicellular. The multicellular, this contain a cluster of cells. The example is the salivary gland. So how many salivary glands are present in human? Can anybody tell me? So that is the three pairs: parotid, submaxillary and sublingual. So based on the mode of secretion, the glandular epithelium also divided into exocrine, exocrine glands. Here the secretion are released through ducts. Exocrine gland, the tubes are there. Exocrine glands, they secrete the mucus, they secrete saliva, earwax, oil, milk and digestive enzymes. The endocrine glands, that is ductless, and these are produces the different types of hormones. So after simple epithelium, we move to the compound epithelium. The compound epithelium made up of compound epithelium are made up of more than one layer. More than one layer. They are multi-layered. Limited role. They have limited role in secretion and absorption. They cover the dry surface of skin. They cover the moist surface of buccal cavity. Pharynx, inner ducts, inner lining of ducts of salivary glands, and the inner lining of pancreatic ducts. The main function of the compound epithelium, they protect against the chemical and mechanical stresses. There is another important topic in this part, that is the cell junction. So the junction that provide structural and functional links between the adjacent cells. They are found in epithelium and other tissues. So cell junction mainly are of three types, that is tight junction, adhering junction, and gap junction. Tight junction, adhering junction, and gap junction. Tight junction help to stop substances from leaking. They stop leaking across a tissue. Anyhow, they prevent this one. Adhering, they perform cementing. Cementing to keep the neighboring cell. That makes the cells together. Gap junction, they facilitate communication. They facilitate communication between the adjoining cells. Communication. Adjoining the cells by connecting the cytoplasm by rapid transfer of ions, sometimes small and sometimes the big molecules. Next, we are moving to the connective tissue, the second tissue. The connective tissue. The connective tissue it links and supports the other tissues and organs. They are the most abundant in complex animals. All connective tissues except blood have fibroblast cell. So remember this one. So all connective tissues except blood have the fibroblast cell. They secrete structural fibrous protein. Fibrous protein means the collagen and elastin. Collagen and elastin. They give strength, elasticity and flexibility to the tissues. The cells also secrete the modified polysaccharides. That is the matrix which accumulate between cells and fibers. So the connective tissue are of three types: loose, dense, and specialized connective tissue. So first, the loose. Loose connective tissues. Loose connective tissue. In this, the cells are fibroblast, macrophages, mast cells, etc. And fibers are loosely arranged. Here the fibers are loosely arranged in a semi-fluid matrix. Loose connective tissue are bifurcated into two different types. One is areolar. Areolar tissue, where they are present, they are beneath the skin. They are present beneath the skin, areolar tissue. It serves as support framework for epithelium. The second one, that is adipose. They seen mainly under skin and it composed of adipocytes. The cells are adipocytes. They store fats. So excess nutrient which are converts into fats are stored in this tissue. Next, the dense connective tissue. So, dense connective tissue in these fibers and fibroblasts are compactly packed. In this group, some are dense regular connective tissue and some are dense irregular. Dense regular, they show regular pattern of the, so fibers are arranged in a regular pattern. Their arrangement is regular pattern. The collagen fiber are present in rows between many parallel bundles of fiber. That is the dense regular. Mostly the tendon and ligaments. These are very regularly arranged. So you can remember where the tendons are present. That is, we can remember muscle, tendon, bone. MTB. Muscle and bone are connected with tendon. Yes, Ankita, you are right. Muscle, tendon and bone. And the ligament that is present, that is, we can remember in our way, BLB, bone, ligament, bone. Very important thing to remember. You face this question anyhow in any exam. So two bones are connected with ligament, BLB, and muscle are connected with bone with tendon, MTB and BLB. So everybody keep into mind, that's very important mnemonic. In dense, irregular connective tissue, these are irregular patterns of fibers. Here the fibroblast and fibers, they are oriented differently. These tissues are present in skin, dense, irregular. Here the collagen fibers are oriented indifferently. That's the important characteristics of dense, irregular connective tissue. After dense connective tissue, the third category of this group, that is specialized. Specialized connective tissue. And the specialized connective tissue, the number one, that is cartilage. These are intercellular material, very important. They are intercellular material, means they are present in the matrix. Their material is solid and they are pliable. Due to chondroitin. Remember this one. They are present of chondroitin salts. And resist the compression. The cartilage cell made up of chondrocytes. There are chondrocytes and enclosed in small cavities within the matrix secreted by them. Most of the cartilage in vertebrate embryos are replaced by bones in adult. So many cartilage are replaced by bones in adult. So those cartilage present in embryo are replaced by bones in adult. So cartilage, where the cartilage are most present, that is, we know the tip of nose, outer ear, joints in the vertebral column, joints in the vertebral column, and limbs, they are present in some limbs, and hands in adults. Next, the bone. It has the hard and non-pliable matrix. So cartilage are pliable due to chondroitin salts, and these are non-pliable due to presence of calcium salts. And the collagen fiber are also there. Which give the bone more strength. They are compact tissue. Bone cells are called osteocytes. These are seen in spaces. The space is called lacunae. The main function, it provides the structural frame. Bone is the frame. That is the structural frame. Structural frame of a body. They support and protect the softer tissues as well as the organs. The limb bones serve the weight-bearing function. They take part in locomotion and movement. And not only these, the blood cells are originated from bone marrow. So these are the prime functions. And the blood, we know a lot of information regarding the blood. You know this is a fluid connective tissue that composed of plasma and the corpuscles made up of RBC, WBC and platelets. So they are helps in circulation. We know a lot of information regarding the blood and its function. So let's move to the muscle tissue. The muscle tissue muscle tissue are made up of many muscle fibers and muscle fiber are composed of numerous fine myofibrils. Muscle fiber can contract and relax. They shorten and strengthen. Muscle take part in locomotion and movement. And the muscles, we have divided the muscle into three main categories. That is skeletal, smooth, and the cardiac. Skeletal muscle, smooth muscle, and cardiac muscle. The skeletal muscle is known as stated muscle. They are also known as voluntary muscle. Very important. Never forget this information. Skeletal muscle are stated, skeletal muscles are voluntary. They are attached with the bones, such as the biceps muscle. The striations are present in the muscle you see. The striations are there. So this type of striations are present in the skeletal muscle. Muscle fibers are bundled together in a parallel fashion. So they are just like this type of structure, and they are arranged in the parallel fashion. And beside this, the nucleus is also there. A sheath of tough connective tissue encloses the bundles of the muscle fibers. And the smooth one, they are involuntary. Smooth muscle are involuntary, and they are visceral. So they are visceral muscle, involuntary muscle. And they are fusiform. So how they look like? They have tapering ends. They have tapering end in both sides. And that's the nucleus. Smooth muscle fiber. Cell junction hold together, and they are bundled together in a connective tissue sheath. They are seen in the wall of the visceral, means they are present in the organs, internal organs, such as the blood vessels. You remember where they are present on the basis of their properties. That will help you. They are visceral. So the inner part are concerned with the smooth muscle, involuntary muscle. So these are involuntary. We cannot regulate them. They are the blood vessels. They are present in stomach. They are present in intestine. Fusiform structure. The cardiac. So the cardiac are the special structure so this type of branch structure are present. Here the cardiac, the intercalated disc are present. Intercalated disc are present in the cardiac muscle. This is the junction between the cells, the intercalated disc. That are the special character of cardiac muscle. They are only present in our heart. So cell junction fuse the plasma membrane of the cardiac muscle and take them stick together. The communication junction, intercalated discs are present in the communicated junction. When a cell receives a signal to contract, the other cells also contract. Next one, the neural tissue. We know a lot about neural tissue. The unit of the neural system, that is the neuron. It carries the impulse, and the neuron are protected and supported by the neuroglial cell. Made up of neuroglial cell, and neuroglia make up more than half of the volume of the neural tissue. In a neuron, so when we draw the structure, see, these are the dendrites. These are the dendrites followed. This is the dendron in the center nucleus surrounded by mitochondria, and the nasal granules are also there. Here the neurofibrils are there in the axon hillock. Myelin sheath are there. In between myelin sheath there is Schwann cell nucleus is present. At the end, the synaptic knob are there and brush. The myelin sheath, in between gap, the node of Ranvier. This is the cell body, and this part is axon. So, cells are form the tissues. Tissues are form the organs. Organs form the organ system. This organization is essential for better coordinated activities of the cell. An organ is made of one or more type of tissues. That is, heart has epithelial tissue, connective tissue, muscular tissue, and neural tissue. That is the coordination in our body. So that's the important information of animal tissues in the chapter Structural and Organization in Plants. Next day, we complete the rest of the part of the chapter, that is the morphology and anatomy of some organisms like cockroach, and arthropods are also there in our syllabus. Till then, good night. Bye everybody.